afternoon. Welcome. It's great to be back at CES and so great to see all of you here in Vegas and for all of you who are joining us on the webcast. Are you ready for a good week? Last year, we started here at CES with our first ever keynote, and we told you that 2019 was going to be a phenomenal year, and it really was a phenomenal year. But so much has happened over the last 12 months, and I'm thrilled to be back here today to really talk about 2020 and how excited we are about all of the tech we have coming out in 2020. So let's go ahead and get started. So, some of you may be new to AMD, and when you think about AMD, I want you to think about one thing. It's all about high-performance computing and how we bring high-performance computing to every market and to our everyday lives. And we do focus on three things to do that. It's really about our products and always focusing on great products. It's about our partners who really bring our technology to life through deep partnerships. And it's also about great technology. And for those of us in the technology industry, you guys know it's about making the right bets 3 to 5 years in advance and making sure that they come to fruition in actual product. So with that, just a little bit about 2019. If you take a look at our products, it really was a huge, huge year. If you look across all of these market segments, we introduced new 7-nanometer products, whether you're talking about the desktop market with the introduction of 3rd-generation RYZEN, or you're talking about the high-end desktop and workstation market with Ryzen Threadripper, or introducing the new Radeon RDNA graphics technology that really brings gaming to the next level for our graphics users, or you're talking about the data center and the tremendous amount of innovation in the cloud. And the fact is, with 2nd-generation EPYC that we launched last year, we doubled the performance from generation to generation. You don't double performance very often, and that translates into a tremendous amount of capability for our customers in terms of overall total cost of ownership. So all of that together gives you an idea of what 2019 was. Now, products are nice, and technology is nice, but really bringing that into systems is what brings technology to life. And we are so honored to be partnered with some of the most important brands in the industry. Whether you're talking about Microsoft with their Surface and Xbox lineup, or you're talking about Sony with their PlayStation lineup, or you're talking about the Apple Mac lineup, or you're talking about Google's data centers. All of these and many more are deeply partnered with us to create great technology and great systems. So I'd like you to hear directly from some of them as to what they do with AMD technology.
So let's talk about our next console. The most powerful and highest performing console we've ever designed. Together with our partners at AMD, we have co-engineered and custom designed a state-of-the-art processor.
This is the new Mac Pro.
For a big upgrade in graphics performance, the Mac Pro can be configured with AMD's Radeon Pro Vega 2. This is, quite simply, the world's most powerful graphics card.
This is Surface Laptop 3. The team has been working with AMD for quite some time to build you a custom experience. I'd like to introduce to you the AMD RYZEN Microsoft Surface Edition processor. We co-engineered this entire platform alongside AMD. It is incredible.
I just couldn't stop thinking maybe there was a different path. Maybe there was a hardware that could be made where it would be more natural to make the games. Ultimately, it's all about having the best games on the platform.
Our data centers actually process hundreds of millions of tweets on a daily basis. That's why we're so excited about the EPYC processors. We're able to get a 25% reduction in the TCO, or total cost of ownership.
Stadia is built on infrastructure that no one else has. We've partnered with our friends at AMD to build a custom GPU. This architecture is the foundation for this new generation of gaming.
Google operates data centers around the world. We have to optimize across many dimensions, and it's the reason why we chose EPYC. And together, I'm confident that Google and AMD are going to continue to push, and I think that's going to be to the benefit of the entire industry.
So what makes these products so amazing? It is really the underlying technology and the combination of technology choices that you have to make. And when you think about it, for us, it's all about pushing the envelope. So it's investing in high-performance CPU cores with our RYZEN roadmap. It's about investing in high-performance GPU cores with our RDNA architecture. It's about putting them together in the smartest possible way using innovative technologies like chiplet designs, which allow you to really mix and match the best that technology has to offer in a single package. And it's about using the best manufacturing technology that's available in the industry today, which is 7-nanometer manufacturing technology. So if I just tell you what we've done with all of these, it's really about bringing a tremendous amount of innovation to market as fast as possible. And I'm happy to say, if you look at the combination of products that we've launched over the last year and will launch in 2020, you will see over 20 products in production or in development in 7-nanometer. So that gives you an idea of just how much innovation we're putting into the high-performance computing market. Now let's turn to 2020. So I said 2020 is going to be a bigger year than 2019, and I mean 2020 is going to be a bigger year. Now, our theme for 2020 is all about the best, bringing the best to the market. And given this is a consumer electronics show, today we're going to focus on what does the best mean for a gamer or a creator, and ensuring that we give you an idea of what types of technologies we're bringing to market. So, for gamers, it's all about higher performance CPUs and higher performance GPUs. So we have a couple of those for you today. And for creators, it's really about bringing more capability and more productivity to all of these new workloads. And our idea is to enable new things to be created. So if you think about how much technology you needed to allow 4K and 5K to get out there, one of the big themes of this show is 8K. And when does 8K become real? And how do you really have the ability to create the content for that? And you're going to see some amazing technology for content creators today. So let's start 2020 with the laptop. Now, when you think about the laptop form factor, you can really say that there are over 180 million laptops that are sold every year. And when you think about that, there actually hasn't been a lot of improvement in the laptop form factor. Now, we're in the mobile space, but you really have to say there's a lot of technology that you have to pack into the laptop form factor. And frankly, from our standpoint, we wanted to change this. And so in 2020, we will be introducing the best laptop processor ever built. And how do you do that? How do you do that? The way you do that is by incorporating the right technology elements. So it's about putting high-performance Zen 2 CPU cores into the laptop form factor. It's about using 7-nanometer technology, which is extremely beneficial from a power performance standpoint. And it's about doing really innovative design on the SoC front to ensure that we're as power efficient as possible so that you can fit into these small, thin, and compact devices. And when you combine all of these technologies together, they really enable disruptive performance. So I'm very happy to say that today at CES, we're going to launch the 3rd generation AMD RYZEN 4000 mobile processors. You know I love showing off chips. So this is the very first 7-nanometer x86 mobile processor. And in this form factor that fits into ultra-thin laptops, we have 8 cores and 16 threads in a very, very, very powerful device. Now, let me tell you what I mean. Thank you. Let me tell you what I mean when I say this is disruptive performance, okay? We always say that every generation looks better than the previous generation, but this is really special. And what you have here is actually the last 5 or 6 years of laptop performance, both from our competition as well as from ourselves. And this is looking at a typical processor that would go into a 15-watt ultra-thin design. And what you can see is that there have been improvements each year, incremental improvements, but you haven't seen that big performance leap, that big jump. And what we've done with the 3rd gen Ryzen and the Ryzen 4000 series is we've created just that jump. We wanted to be above the historical curve. We wanted to push the envelope, and that's the combination of all of the technologies that I talked about earlier. And what that means is you get a lot more capability in the hands of users when you're using the Ryzen 4000 series. And the way you should think about it is this goes across a number of different markets. So, you know, the ultra-thin laptop is perhaps the sexiest form factor when you think about laptop form factors. And we're always trying to make them smaller and thinner and lighter and longer battery life. But we also have a very growing segment in the gaming and the creator segment where you want desktop-like performance in a mobile form factor. And you'll see that in our H series products, as well as the very important commercial space. So at the end of the day, there are lots of businesses that need new notebooks. And what we want to ensure is that not only do they have the performance capability, but they also have the manageability and the security and all of those other features. So you will see Ryzen 4000 series over a number of different markets and form factors. Now, just a little bit about specs. When you look at the specs of the Ryzen 4000 series, we'll start at the top of the stack for the ultra-thins. So this is the Ryzen 7 4800U. And what you see is it has 8 Zen 2 cores, 16 threads. It goes up to 4.2 gigahertz. It has 8 Radeon cores. And when I spend a minute on the graphics cores, we've actually done a tremendous amount of optimization around these graphics cores. So they're based on our Vega architecture, but they actually have 59% more performance than the previous generation. And that's all the design optimization that's been done. And all of this fits in a 15-watt envelope. So that's an incredible amount of technology in 15 watts. And if you take a look at how we perform versus our competition, what we're comparing against here is the competition's latest generation, 10th generation Ice Lake in 10 nanometer. So this is what they have in store right now. And what we show is the Ryzen 4000 series is higher on single-threaded performance. Higher on single-threaded performance. It is 90% higher on multi-threaded performance. And it is significantly higher on graphics performance. So when I say it's simply the best laptop processor that's been built, I think I've shown it in these numbers. Now, when you move over to the creator land, you know, think about this, still 15-watt form factor. There are lots of productivity tasks that you want to do in this form factor. You can see that computing power really comes to life. So whether you're talking about video transcoding, video editing, other large compute tasks, what we're showing is greater than 25%, in some cases close to 50% more performance in these tasks. And what that means is you can get a lot more done in a lot less time. And that's really the focus of all of this technology innovation. Now, one of the important things, obviously, for the laptop market is battery life. And battery life is about an optimization of so many different things. And so I'm really pleased to say that in Ryzen 4000 series, we've really, really optimized the overall power efficiency of the device. And what you can see is more than double the power efficiency, so the performance per watt compared to our previous generation. And that's really coming from the 7-nanometer process gains, as well as all of the work we've done in design and architecture. So again, what you can expect is leading performance with all-day battery life with Ryzen 4000 series. Now, let's talk a little bit about systems. So there are going to be lots of systems in market with Ryzen 4000, but let me show you one of the first, which is the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7. All right, so let's take a look at this guy. So Lenovo this morning actually launched their Yoga Slim 7. This is the world's thinnest and lightest 8-core laptop. It actually has the flagship Ryzen 7 4800U. It's less than 15 millimeters thick. It has DDR4X, and it has a FreeSync 14-inch full HD display. So you can see, really a beautiful form factor, but it's just an example, if you can imagine, 8 cores and 16 threads in this type of device. Okay, so it's all about systems, and it's all about putting this technology into action. I'm very happy to announce today that in the first quarter of 2020, you'll see over a dozen designs with our Ryzen 4000 series, and you can expect over 100 designs across ultra-thin, gaming, as well as commercial throughout 2020. So how does that sound for transforming the laptop market? Now, you're going to see a little bit more about Ryzen 4000 in action later on when we show you some gaming performance. But for now, let's transition over to the graphics market, where we're going to talk a little bit about what we're bringing to the gaming market. So for that, let me welcome Laura Smith to the stage, who runs our Radeon product line. Laura?
Thank you, Lisa, and welcome to CES. It is a great privilege to be here and talking with you today. I've been an engineer for about 20 years now, and I've really learned to appreciate how it's the gamers and the creators that keep pushing us forward to bring you better and better solutions for your creative ideas and those expert workloads. Let's start by looking at the gaming industry in 2019. 2019 was a fantastic year for gaming. We saw exciting titles launch. Those titles drove over $35 billion in PC content revenue. And gaming continues to be a great form of entertainment. We saw last year over 1 billion hours of gameplay were watched every month. And this excitement around gaming translated into a 15% year-over-year growth in esports-related revenues. These are monies from league play and media contracts, showing once again that the gaming market is strong and an exciting thing to be a part of. For our part, over 500 million gamers and creators are using AMD hardware. We have a variety of products across desktop and mobile, including the discrete graphics products most recently released by Apple. We're also very proud to be the #1 in game consoles and expect to continue this position as our partners, Microsoft and Sony, launch the new generation of consoles next year. At AMD, we know that gamers and creators experience through their displays. They rely on high-performance hardware, and they expect world-class software to bring it all to life. We invest heavily in every part of this ecosystem. We're excited to talk to you about each one a little today. If you're a gamer, any stuttering or tearing can absolutely remove you from the gameplay. And so we believe very strongly that all gamers need to have a great display. We're very, very excited that this January, the FreeSync ecosystem is growing to over 1,000 displays. These displays range from 1080p to 4K and cover price points from $89 to $4,000. With such an enormous ecosystem, we would like to help customers navigate the retail and e-tail options. To do this, we're showing 3 designations. First, FreeSync, for a tear-free and stutter-free experience all gamers need. And then AMD FreeSync Premium, which designates support for high refresh monitors at 120 Hertz and higher, and also support for LFC, low frame rate compensation. And then finally, we have the AMD Premium Pro. This adds HDR support with twice the perceived color volume and depth of SDR. HDR really brings those games that support it to life. Now let's talk about software. At AMD, we believe that every major software release should be an upgrade for everyone. We work hard to ensure that you get exciting performance, new features, and technologies with our software. Just last December, we launched the AMD Adrenalin 2020 edition. It delivered an average of a 12% performance uplift and over 20 new and enhanced features. The modern UI that came with it provides a new updated view across desktop, mobile, and PC. Some of the features included integer scaling, which allows you to play your old retro games with a brand new view, and Radeon Boost. Radeon Boost provides higher frame rate in high movement scenes so that you have a smoother experience there at that part of the game. A lot of our feature development comes through our engagement with the community. We really appreciate the engagement that we have with you and the feedback you give us. And we are thrilled that over 3.4 million people have downloaded and are enjoying this software since it launched on December 10th. Now that we've talked about the displays and the software, let's talk about hardware. On behalf of all of AMD's engineers, we are very, very excited about the market reception of RDNA. RDNA is a brand new grounds-up architecture that we built to fuel the next round of product innovations. It delivers a 25% performance per clock increase, a 50% performance per watt increase. We led with 7 nanometer, we led with PCIe Gen 4, deployed new media and new display hardware and GDDR6. This broad architecture is the foundation for great products to come. The first product that we released with RDNA was the RX 5700 last July. It is the ultimate 1440p card, and it's great for maxed out gameplay at that resolution. We followed it up in Q4 with the 5500 for an affordable, great experience on modern games in 1080p. And today, we are excited to welcome the newest member to the 5000 series. Please help me welcome the Radeon RX 5600 XT. The Radeon RX 5600 XT is the ultimate 1080p gaming card. It's built on RDNA, has 36 compute units, a game clock of 1375 megahertz, and a boost clock of 1560 megahertz. It's configured with 6 gigs of GDDR6. So now that we've covered the specs, let's look at how it stacks up in games. These are 3 recently released titles that are being enjoyed around the world. As you can see, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the 5600 is winning by 10%. In Division 2, we're winning by 15%, and Gears of War 5 is just as strong. So if you're a big fan of AAA gaming, at 1080p, you want to play it all maxed out, no, the recent titles and the upcoming titles, the 5600 is a clear winner. Now, we already talked that most of us play esports games as well. Looking at 3 very popular esports titles, Apex Legends, Fortnite, and World of Warcraft, you can see that the 5600 beats the competition. We are very excited about this, about delivering the ultimate 1080p card for you, and are happy to welcome it to the 5000 series. If you're a gamer that games from 1080p to 1440p, we have you covered. We have the 5500, which is an affordable, great card for 1080p on all the modern titles. We have the brand new 5600 XT for the max 1080p ultimate gameplay. And of course, we have the 5700, the ultimate 1440p game card. Now, my guess is that you're wondering, when can I get one and how much is it going to cost? We are very excited that from all of our AIB partners, the 5600 will be available January 21st for $279 worldwide at all of your favorite retail and e-tail sites. We are also excited that the 5600 is going to be coming to mobile. In the first half of 2020, we're working with our OEM partners to launch the 5600M and the 5700M to notebook so that you can enjoy the same great performance and feature set in mobile. 2020 is definitely the year of the gamer. We are really excited about all the great creative titles that are coming out, the broadening of the display ecosystem, the 5600 coming to desktop, new RDNA-powered notebooks, and the upcoming consoles that are going to include RDNA architectures. This year is going to be fantastic for everybody that loves gaming, and we're excited to spend it with you. With that, please help me welcome my friend and colleague, Frank Azor.
Great job.
Nope.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Lisa. How's everyone doing today? Yeah. Happy CES 2020 and Happy New Year. Really, really excited to be here with you guys. What an incredible time to be a gamer and a creator with so much going on around CPUs, around graphics, around cloud, around games themselves, and then what's going on with consoles is really exciting as well. These developments are pretty exciting to me. I've been doing gaming and focusing on gaming my entire career. And to think about how far we've come from that first gaming notebook I helped pioneer over 15 years ago, which was thick, heavy, and loud, to the incredible processing performance we have in a processor like the 4800U, which makes all types of thin, ultra-thin, and light form factors suddenly gaming capable. It's unimaginable to me how far we've come. And I'm so happy to see us with our Radeon graphics getting back into mobile systems again. It's something that we've needed as an industry for a long time now, and we're finally back in the game again. So really, really excited about that. So most of all, though, I'm excited because this is my first time on an AMD CES stage as an AMD team member. Those of you that I know that I just love making products. It's what fuels me every single day, and I've had an incredible opportunity over the last 21 years to make some great products with the team at Alienware and at Dell. But I came to AMD because only AMD has all of the core components that we as gamers and creators rely on every single day for our computing needs. The high-performance processors that we depend on, the software and technologies necessary, and the incredible graphics that we depend on every day to power those visual experiences and to do our rendering for us. Today, I'm going to share with you how we're bringing some remarkable performance to laptops, something that is breaking tons of new ground and that I've been dreaming of for a long time now. And I'm going to show you what we're doing with our CPUs, with our graphics, and with our software and technologies in bringing them all together to build an even better experience than anything we've seen before in laptops. So let's get started. For those of us that are gaming and creating on laptops out there, there's about 90 million of us doing so. And those of us that know this market know that we are the most finicky, kind of highest performance users that are out there when it comes to laptops. There's just never enough performance that you can give us. So who better than AMD to deliver a processor that gives you uncompromising desktop class performance, but with mobile class efficiency? I'd like to introduce you to the Ryzen 7 4800H processor. So I made a pretty big claim, right? Desktop caliber performance for gamers and creators in a notebook processor. 8 cores, 16 threads, a higher base clock speed than the 4800U that Lisa spoke to you about. This thing was built for the most demanding content creation and gaming workloads out there. But I said it performs like a desktop, right? Well, I've spent pretty much my entire career, ever since we made that first gaming laptop over 15 years ago, trying to deliver desktop class performance into a mobile system. The advantages of mobile systems, the ability to take your content anywhere with you, everywhere you want to go, in a nice thin form factor with great battery life, has always been a dream of mine to give you that kind of performance in that kind of a form factor, but without all the compromises that come associated with it. Those compromises being thickness, weight, poor battery life, and a huge fan noise, plus they tend to be pretty expensive. So what we wanted to do is build a processor that gives you that kind of performance, but it doesn't come with all of those compromises. To give you an idea as to why this has been a dream for me for so long, let's look at 2 leading processors in the market to understand what the performance delta is between a mobile CPU and a desktop CPU. And what you'll see is there's a performance delta of about 26% between 2 of the leading processors. But to get that 26% performance improvement, you've got to more than double the TDP to do so. That results in a thicker, heavier, louder, and more expensive laptop. And nobody wants that. So what's really remarkable about the 4800H is that it's delivering even faster performance than a desktop processor. And it's doing it at 45 watts. It's an incredible accomplishment. So you're probably wondering, when can you get your hands on one of these processors? Oh, by the way, content creation workloads, it gets even better for content creation workloads, 46% uplift. But you're probably wondering, hey, when can I get my hands on this incredible processor? So I'd like to introduce you to a really cool product that you're going to see coming up soon. So this is the brand new ASUS Zephyrus G14 notebook. Now, some of the things that are notable about this product, it's going to have the latest AMD RYZEN 4000 series processors, of course, but the form factor is pretty remarkable. Only 3.5 pounds for all of this performance, over 10 hours of battery life, and a sub 18 millimeter Z height. It's pretty incredible. But probably my favorite feature about this product is what you'll see on the backside. It's absolutely really, really cool. And you can customize the whole interface. ASUS is creating a really cool interface for you to personalize this however you'd like. They even have the ability for it to respond to music that's playing on the notebook. The next best thing about this product, you're only going to be able to find it with an AMD RYZEN processor. So make sure to look out for this in February of this year. So as I mentioned earlier, AMD is unique in the industry. It's the only company that makes a portfolio of high-performance components that we rely on as gamers and as creators. We're the only ones that make all of the key components: processors, graphics, and the software and technology that you depend on. So we've been asking ourselves, what could be possible if we combined all of these technologies together and focused on delivering an even better experience than what's been done up to now in our industry? We call that the AAA advantage. And today I'd like to show you one of the latest technologies that we've developed across that AAA advantage. But first, we have to go a little bit back in history. So AMD was one of the first companies to combine high-performance CPUs and high-performance graphics into forming the high-performance APUs that you see in the market today. APUs like the Ryzen 7 4800U. And that's translated into incredible performance, but also incredible efficiency, depending on whatever workload you're running. If you're running a CPU-intensive workload, the CPU portion of that APU accelerates, and it delivers the performance that you need. And if you're doing a graphics-intensive workload, the opposite happens. So we've been working and thinking about how do we take those lessons learned from the APU work that we've been doing for over a decade now and apply that to our discrete graphics. And what we've done is we've created kind of like a virtual super APU, if you will, by bringing the discrete graphics into the equation and shifting the power from the CPU to the GPU so that it overclocks that graphics card when necessary, and then vice versa when CPU-intensive workloads require extra CPU performance. It's something that we call Smart Shift. It does it seamlessly to the operating system, and it does it very, very quickly. So quickly, in fact, that we're saving power when we shift those workloads over from the CPU to the GPU versus an architecture that doesn't have Smart Shift integrated into it. So you're probably wondering, how does it perform? So we're still in development, and these are preliminary results, but in the Division 2, in just our early development, we're already getting over 10% performance improvement when you turn on Smart Shift. Now, the key thing to remember about this technology is it's basically free. You don't have to increase the form factor of the notebook. You don't have to give it more thermal capacity. You don't have to buy a higher bin of the CPU or the GPU to get this 10% performance uplift. You just have to design it in from the get-go. It's turned on, and you get the 10% performance improvement in the same form factor as a notebook that doesn't have it enabled and that isn't going to be getting the performance benefits. For content creators, you're also going to see a big uplift in performance with up to 12% faster performance right now in Cinebench. And again, these are just preliminary early results. It's only going to get better from here. So you're probably wondering, when can you get your hands on this? So very excited to share with you that you're going to be able to get your hands on Smart Shift, as well as the brand new Ryzen 4000 Series H processors and the Radeon 5600M graphics that Laura spoke to you about in Q2 of this year with this brand new Dell G5 Special Edition laptop. This laptop incorporates all of the state-of-the-art technologies that AMD has to offer right now. It not only features our latest processors, our latest Radeon graphics, our brand new Smart Shift technology, but it'll also come preloaded with our Adrenaline software that Laura spoke to you about. And you'll get all the great features that come with it, including our image sharpening technology, our boost technology, and so on. You'll also get, for the first time ever, a feature that will allow you to see Smart Shift operating in real time. So you can see your performance shifting from the CPU to the GPU. And we're going to be including a power profile in here to give you that better battery life while you're gaming and while you're content creating. There hasn't been a lot of focus on battery life during those heavy intensive workloads. You're going to get incredible battery life out of this product when you're gaming or you're creating on these products. So stay tuned for more information on this. Dell just announced it at the show, and you're going to be able to purchase it yourself in Q2 of 2020. Thank you. So, like I said before, AMD is the only company that has all of the key technologies to give you these incredible gaming experiences. And we're just getting started. Okay, this is the tip of the spear, what we're showing you with Smart Shift and how we're integrating all these technologies into a product like the Dell G5 Special Edition. You can rest assured you're going to see a ton of more AAA advantage technologies and solutions from us in the very near future. But for now, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. Have a great CES 2020, and I'd like to welcome Lisa back on the stage. Thank you.
Okay, was that fun or what? Very excited about the Ryzen 4000 series for gamers as well as for creators. We're very excited about the Radeon 5600 XT coming to desktops and coming into mobile. And we're very, very excited about what we can do with AAA. And it's the idea of putting all of the best technologies, CPUs, GPUs, and software together to build the great systems. But we can't just quite leave it at that. I have one more product to share today. And for that, let's go back to the world of desktops for a moment. So, look, we said 2019 was a phenomenal year, and it really was. And it was particularly a huge year for the desktop form factor. We introduced our 3rd gen Ryzen as well as our Ryzen Threadripper parts, and we just had incredible reception from the user community, whether you were an enthusiast gamer or a creator, or just someone who liked to build your own PCs. We just saw a lot of excitement around desktops. And these are some of my favorite pictures. When we launched these products on July 7th for the 3rd gen Ryzen, and then for the 3950X and Threadripper just here in late November, we actually saw people line up and wait in line such that they could get the very first processors. These are some pictures from some microcenters in the US, as well as from the Akihabara shopping district in Tokyo. And they just give you an idea of how much excitement there was around 3rd gen Ryzen and Threadripper. And when you really look at why, the data speaks for itself. So just take a look at the data just for a second here. If you start at the bottom of the chart, that's our competition's best. That's what they're offering in the mainstream desktop market today. And when you look at the 3950X, 16-core mainstream CPU, you see over 70% higher multi-threaded performance. That's really, really significant. And then when you go to the 3rd generation Threadripper and you see what we do with the 24-core and the 32-core device, there's just simply no competition. But of course you knew we couldn't stop there. Now, we could push this even further, and why not go above 32 cores? When you can have the technology to do even more, why not? So, take a look at this. So I'm really happy to announce today the 3rd gen Ryzen Threadripper 64-core processor, our 3990X, the very first 64-core processor in the mainstream, in the desktop form factor. 64 cores, 128 threads, up to 4.3 gigahertz boost, 288 megabytes of cache, all for $39.90, which is exactly what you would expect. Now look, let me just show you the performance of this guy. I actually need 3 screens to show you what you can do here. And now you might ask, is this technology for technology's sake? What do you need all this computing performance for? So let me show you an application, because this just gives you an idea of what we mean by disruptive technology. So what you're seeing here is a demonstration. We're actually comparing the Ryzen 3990X to 2 Xeon Platinum 8280s. So this is the top of our competition's server stack. It actually retails for about $20,000 for the pair of processors. And what we're showing is a popular rendering application. So this is V-Ray, and we are using content from our partners at Blur Studio from their work on the film Terminator Dark Fate. And what we're showing is time-lapse in about a minute, what would normally take about an hour to complete. And it's going to take a little while to complete. But what you'll see, hopefully you'll see, is that the Threadripper 3990X is much faster. You complete the render in an hour and 3 minutes. Our competition's still going. But when it does complete, what you will see is that that same workload, if you are doing it on the top of the line server products today, will take 30% more time. And that means an hour and 30 minutes. So if you are a content creator who's trying to push the envelope, you will save 30 minutes on a render like this. And just imagine what that can do in terms of your creativity and your productivity. It really is game-changing for these types of applications. So what do you think of that? It might also be just slightly cheaper, just slightly. But look, we want to see this technology in action, and we're all about how do we bring technology to the user. And so with our early 3990Xs, we actually gave a few of them to our partner, Red Camera. Now, Red and their digital cameras have really changed the way feature films and TV are made. They've always pushed the envelope. They were leading in 4K and 5K, and they are leading in bringing 8K content to the industry. So let's hear from the team at Red as to what they can do with Threadripper.
Well, Red, of course, is a camera company. Every product we do, we just push ourselves forward.
When we first came with the Red One, no one was really shooting 4K because they didn't understand the benefits at the time.
And it's just been an evolution of that to 5K and 6K and 8K. The ultimate goal is to be able to shoot, pull that into your system at full resolution, and just edit. The data footprint of 8K RGB is pretty massive. So we had to develop Red Code Raw. Problem with Red Code is it was very CPU intensive.
The first time I saw the 64-core Threadripper playing back 8K real time and transcoding fast in real time, it blew my mind. The idea of being able to not worry about a workflow because my system can now handle the highest quality footage I can throw at it.
You hear 8K and you're like, yeah, no problem. Next, what else? And we couldn't do that on the CPU until the 64 Threadripper. That's the crazy thing is we will take every single core you give us, thank you very much. And when we saw the results of the 64 core Threadripper, it was the first time where you felt, oh my God, this is massive.
I like massive, that sounds pretty good. So look, we are extremely excited to complete our third generation RYZEN Threadripper. And what you'll see is globally, we will have 3990X on shelf February 7th. So just a few weeks away. All right, let me finish up here at CES. What I can say is I hope you've gotten a good sense of why we're so excited about 2020. It is an extremely exciting year for both AMD and our partners. And I started with, we are absolutely committed to delivering the very best in high-performance computing. So whether you're talking about mobile processors, or you're talking about desktop graphics, or mobile graphics, or you're talking about high-end desktops, there is a lot of technology we have in store for you. And you can expect there will be a lot more from AMD this year, including the next generation consoles that will also be launched here in 2020. Our goal will be to continue pushing the envelope in high performance. Have a wonderful CES, and thank you very much for joining us today.